Want to know how to make a Halloween coffin favor box with Cricut? In this video, I'll show you a step-by-step tutorial, and at the end of the video, I'll share a featured blooper. Hi, my name is Kim with Kimagine DIY, where I hope to help you imagine the possibilities with DIYs and crafts. If that sounds like fun, consider subscribing. Now let's just jump into the materials that we will need for this project. Your cutting machine, some cardstock, your weeding tools, optional scoring wheel or stylus, light grip mat, and some glue. I'm using tacky glue and a glue stick. Let's go into Cricut Design Space to upload the SVG I have already downloaded. It will be linked in the description box. We are going to go to Upload Image, and select Browse. When I downloaded this SVG, it came in 3 separate files, so we're going to have to upload them individually. Then tag and title each item so you can find it easier later in case you want to use it for a future project. Now that all of them are uploaded into Cricut, we're going to select all 3 and insert into a new project. If you have 12x12 cardstock, you can use the YouTube chapters to skip ahead to cutting it out on the Cricut. I am going to use 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I'm going to slightly alter this SVG to be able to maximize my cardstock. But seriously, after everything I had to do to alter this SVG, it would be a lot easier if you just get 12x12 cardstock. I use all my Design Space tips and tricks to make this project work on a letter-sized paper. Let's get to work. Let's work on one layer at a time and hide all the others. Then we're going to go to Shapes, pick any shape, and then you're going to place it over one of the bats. Then select both layers, click the Slice tool to cut it out, and repeat until all these images are separate. So I'm just going to reposition the circle to cover another bat, hit Slice, cut it out, and repeat. Since I have some of the other SVGs in the way, I'm just going to hide them, delete the excess, any parts that I don't need, so I can cleanly cut out the other parts of the SVG. Now you can see all these parts can move around as individual layers or images. I'm just going to select them all, group it together like it's in a folder, and click Hide so I can work on the next layer. For the next layers, I'm going to need to first ungroup them before I can slice them out. It will be the same process as before, except for this long rectangular piece here. This SVG part is about 12 inches long, so will not fit on my paper at all. So I'm going to make 2 pieces out of this one SVG. I'm going to slice it where it visually makes sense, but also duplicate the image, so I'll create pieces to overlap so I can glue it together so it'll still be one line. This SVG part has cut lines attached to it, so you're going to need to hit detach before being able to cut anything out. I made my first cut about 10 inches long, so I know it will fit on my cardstock. Then I realized that these score lines were actually cut lines, which would be fine if I didn't need to alter my image. Sometimes you can just easily go to the layers bar and change a cut line into a score line, but for some reason, not this image. I didn't want to cut up my mat, and I couldn't slice off the excess cut lines. So my only solution was just to recreate the score lines. So let's go over to Shapes, go down to Score Line, and we're just going to trace over all the cut lines that are needed for this image. Rotate 90 degrees and drag the line until you fully cover what's needed. Zoom in so you can see the details and use the Y-axis to help fine-tune those vertical lines. I would also use the layers bar to hide the original cut lines just so I could only see the score lines and make sure that they look accurate upon the SVG. Next, get another score line, resize it for the vertical length that you need, and hit duplicate for the rest of the image. I also duplicated the main horizontal line and a vertical line just so I can use it for the next image. I select all the score lines for the image. Click Attach. And then I attach that layer to the SVG. Then you will repeat those steps for the other half. Now that my orange layers are all altered, I'm going to unhide all the layers and group them together. Same thing with the grays. Unhide all of them and group them together so all the oranges and the grays and the yellows are in their own folders or groups. Now we're ready to unhide everything and click Make It. To optimize the space on your cardstock, you're going to reposition your images around. And to help, select the drop-down menu so you can input the cardstock size. You can also move your SVGs to different mats by selecting those 3 dots in the corner. Hit Move Object and then select the mat you would like to place it on. And I am going to be using light cardstock for this project. Lay your paper down on your mat and use a brayer or a scraper to make sure it's completely flat. Normally, you would be using a light grip mat for light cardstock, but I've used my strong grip mat so much that it's basically a light grip adhesive now. If you change your perforated cuts to score lines, you're gonna have to put your scoring wheel or stylus in first before your fine point blade. When weeding my project, I like to use the mat as a set of extra hands to help fold my cardstock along the score lines. Now that we have all the pieces, it's time to assemble it. I immediately grabbed those coffin walls overlap parts and glued them together to be able to get the initial outline for your project. By examining the parts, then I understood that the hexagonal aspect is going to basically sandwich the walls of the coffin. So glue your bottom base of the coffin to the walls first, and then add the glue for the interior. I also use my scraper inside the coffin to spread out the glue so it's more even. Then you're going to repeat those same steps with the coffin lid. Also pay close attention to make sure those edges line up nicely. Question of the day: what's one of your favorite Halloween crafts? Let me know in the comments below. My orange paper, because it was available, is actually made of copy paper, which I do not recommend because it was a little too flimsy for this project. The cardstock light would be the lightest weight I would recommend for this. Also, the tacky glue started to show through the copy paper. So then I switched to glue stick. Then it's time to embellish the coffin lid how you like it. If you guys are getting any value, please click that thumbs up button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I also bent the wings of the bats just to add more three-dimensional aspects to this project. And here's the finished project. It came out so well, super cute, great for just Halloween decor or for party favor boxes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can click the card right up here, or pick what YouTube says is best for you, which is right here. And of course, don't forget to watch the blooper at the end, and I'll see you guys next week. Then it's time to embellish the coffee.